When the Darkness' debut album Permission to Land came out in 2003, I wasn't really sure if this band was a joke or not. But to be honest with you, it didn't really matter because the band was delivering blistering guitar solos that my teenage mind was craving. So how is the Darkness' latest album, Easter's Cancelled? Let's get into my review. Hello friendly people of the internet, I hope you're all enjoying this beautiful fall weather we're having. If this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe for your regular dose of positivity on things that a lot of people think suck. Let's get into my standout tracks from the Darkness' Easter's Cancelled. So the title track starts out with some really aggressive chugging, picking riffs throughout that are broken up as the drums drop out. They give Justin a chance to drop a few lines, and then compounding back in to make for a very dynamic experience overall. There are some insanely high vocals on this track. This is Justin Hawkins at his prime right here. He sounds terrific on this album in general. The guitar solo stands out as one of the most interesting I've heard from this band. It's got this dramatic, exotic, Eastern vibe to it that feels very experimental for the Darkness. This is definitely a standout track on this album that I can see myself listening to over and over again. The vibe on Heart Explodes is something that I would not expect at all from the Darkness. It's more down-tempo with serious lyrics that at times seem to be about convincing yourself breaking up with somebody is actually a good thing, but the melancholy vibe that the song carries overall in the lyrics, free to love again like the love you never showed, give it this just sucks because it wasn't really necessarily mutual vibe, if that makes sense. This is definitely another standout track from Easter's Cancelled. The lead single, Rock and Roll Deserves to Die, was the first track I heard from this album, and it's also the reason I'm really even listening to it in the first place. I love the slow build to this insane power scream, and there's really just a pile of awesome screaming moments in general, with some really melodic acoustic picking and mandolin work as a contrast. You could throw this track right alongside all of the Darkness' other really great songs, and it would fit very nicely. I also respect the story behind the title because it aligns very nicely with my perspective on a lot of modern rock music. In a recent interview, Justin Hawkins said, "We were looking at a video of some new rock band and it was just formulaic. There was nothing original going on, nothing boundary challenging in it, so they were pretty annoying to watch. So while my brother was looking at it, he said, well, you know what? Rock and roll deserves to die." The track seems to be more commentary on the rock scene in general and not necessarily about the Darkness themselves. How Can I Lose Your Love starts with this synth arpeggio that sounds fresh and had me really excited. The chorus has this airy 80s pop vibe to it with a heavier spin, and the main guitar solo on this song is one of the better ones on the album. The last 24 seconds of this song are just a crazy combination of all the things I love about the Darkness. Powerful high-pitched screaming of the word love over top of beautifully aggressive riffing. In Another Life starts as a down-tempo acoustic ballad with a soaring melodic solo over top. The verses are quiet with a cool pre-chorus that leads into a really powerful chorus, and overall this song had a love is only a feeling type vibe to it from Permission to Land. Heavy Metal Lover starts with a straightforward power chord riff that struck me as kind of generic and had me yawning a bit until the 43-second mark, where this weird satanic vocal effect comes in alongside some really cool metal riffs. The song oscillates back and forth between this quiet, clean guitar section, a catchy, pretty memorable chorus, and the weird metal sections that really make me wonder what an entirely metal song would sound like from these guys. This was neat experimentation, and I like to see something that's just straight up weird from the Darkness. It's creative and different, and in line with Justin's comments about writing original rock music that no one else is really doing. We Are the Guitar Man seems to be a reflection on the value of guitar-driven music, and there's some really cool guitar work in this track, and I mean there should be based on the title. So while these are my standout tracks, there are a few tracks on Easter's Cancelled that range from skippable to formulaic and just kind of meh. Deck Chair sounds like a medieval hymn of sorts. There's some cool guitar work that comes in halfway, and it's a really beautiful song, but I can't say I'd go back and listen to it again in favor of some of the other tracks on this album. Live Till I Die sounds like a personal reflection on life from Justin. He sings most of the song in his lower register, which I don't really mind, but the guitar work overall is a little more basic than other tracks on the album, and focuses mostly on chord strumming as opposed to more technical riffing. It makes for a good listen overall, but it wasn't really a standout track for me. Choke on It is a pleasing enough rocker that will probably please the fans of the band. There are some tasty licks in the guitar solo, but overall I wasn't really digging this track. It felt a little bit more generic and sort of typical for the rock genre. So getting into my overall impression of this album, one of the things I look for in new music from an older band is a sense of evolution in the band's sound, while remaining faithful to the elements that make them a really great band to begin with. Now this is a tough task for a band like the Darkness, whose sound is heavily influenced by the sounds of rock music from the past. Like Justin Hawkins said, rock music's becoming pretty stale nowadays. But this is a great album that delivers what The Darkness has always promised. A hard rock sound, impressive guitar work and arrangements, and vocals that are really like nothing else you'll hear out there. So we don't see a ton of evolution from The Darkness on Easter is Cancelled, but they do continue to provide unique, original, and inventive rock music that's made up of insane vocals and very strong guitar work. So overall, I give Easter is Cancelled by The Darkness a 4 out of 5. What do you guys think? Is anyone else out there still listening to The Darkness? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching.